a very warm welcome to the weekend edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. I'm Kamya Jani Verma.
Hi there everyone, I'm Avinash. It's been a truncated week for the markets and we've been pretty volatile. But here's what's lined up today on the show. We got some stock queries that we will be discussing today, advanced Enzymes as well as Adani Transmission on the show.
Well, not just that, on our Portfolio Advisor segment, we'll be discussing Jay Venkata Mahesh's portfolio up ahead.
Okay, let's tell you who our experts are who will be guiding us over the next 30 minutes. On the show today, Avinash Gorakshekar, market expert, is with us on the fundamentals, and on the technical side, Ruchit, Jain, technical analyst equities at Angel Broking. Welcome to the show, gentlemen, and thanks for joining in. First up, we've got our query coming in from Ratan, and he's got a query first up on Adani Transmission. 1,000 shares is what he's got, and he's bought it at a level of 4,195 rupees per share. Now he wants to know what should he do with a 2-month time horizon. First up, Ratan, you've sent in your query all the way from Japan. Thank you so much for tuning in to ET Now, and we hope we can get it answered. Well, recently it's been in the news. S&P has assigned a stable outlook on the company, and in fact they've spoken about a BBB negative rating on the long-term issue rating. There have been stable cash flows according to S&P, and that's the key reason for the upgrade. Regulations and stable operations are some of the other key triggers. Just walk you through the kind of performance as well that they delivered. The net profit jumped threefold in the first quarter to a good 123 crore rupees. Avinash, let's understand from you, given the fact that it's been pretty gung-ho for the stock so far, do you think that there's merit in staying invested in Adani Transmission?
Avan, I think, if the investor has got a slightly longer term horizon of at least 12 to 18 months, I would suggest that he should hold on, because there is definitely a good risk reward ratio even from the current levels. This is a company which got recently listed after the Adani demerger. Clearly all businesses were hived off and separately now they are listed. This is a company which basically is in the transmission space, and where, the government as well as a lot of investments are coming up by the private sector. And our sense is, with the kind of order book Adani Transmission has, there's no doubt that this kind of quarterly kind of profit momentum is going to be maintained in the quarters going forward, and we believe that not only FY17 but even FY18 will be a good year. So probably a target price of around 55 to 60 over the next 12 months is possible. I think he should hold on.
Okay, a whole call coming in at current levels. That's what Avinash is recommending as far as the fundamentals are concerned. But let's quickly take a look at how the stock has really shaped up over the last few months. Clearly, on Friday, we saw the stock gaining about close to 1.5%. And in fact, over the last 3 months as well, let's see how the stock has done. Over the last 1 month, in fact, the stock has gained about 3%. Over the last 3 months, 34% of gains. So clearly, the gains have been steady there. Would like to know from our other expert as well what he thinks of Adani Transmissions. Ruchit?
Well, the stock post-listing has been trading in a broader range of 42 and on the low side up to 28. Recently, since last 6 months post-testing a low of around 28, the stock has formed this higher tops and higher bottom. So I think the short-term chart structure remains positive as far as the stock is trading above the support levels of 36 and 35. So it would be advisable to hold the stock at current levels, place a stop loss below 35, as that's a crucial support for the stock if we go by the recent history post-listing. On the higher side, 42, 43 remains a near-term resistance. So far the volumes are not that high, but I think once the stock takes out this resistance of 42 or 43, then the uptrend higher top higher bottom would be continued. So my call would be to hold the stock by placing a stop loss below 35 rupees.
Okay, that's the call coming in. Hold on with a stop loss below 35 on the technicals. Thanks very much, Ratan, for that first query. Let's move right on to Ratan's second query. Well, that's regarding a very recent listing, that's Advanced Enzymes. So let's get the query on board. Well, he's got 150 shares at a price point of 1,210 rupees a share. His question is, should he hold or should he sell for the next 2 months or so? Remember, this is a company which is the second largest enzyme manufacturer in India. They're engaged in research and development as well as in manufacturing and marketing of healthcare, and the total addressable market of $2 billion seems to be growing at about 6%. 6 manufacturing units is what they have, 4 in India and 2 in the US, and they have a total fermentation capacity of about 360 ccm. Close to 700 customers worldwide, and some of the big clients or customers include Sanofi India, Cipla as well as Ipca Laboratories. Let's get in a view, Avinash, as to how you see advanced enzymes. This is a fairly interesting space. How would you pit it vis-a-vis some of its other peers? And do you think that perhaps our investor here should stay invested for a slightly longer term hold?
Yeah, I think if you look at the kind of performance post listing, I think it has been a very spectacular listing. And as you rightly mentioned, in the enzyme space, Advanced Enzymes is a very dominant player. In fact, post the listing, the management has clearly said that the kind of growth numbers they envisage for the next couple of years is at least to 40 to 50% kind of CAGR. My sense is not only the top line, but even the profitability in this business is going to be quite healthy. And both from a short term as well as from a long term view, the prospects looks healthy. In fact, once the company comes out with its first set of earnings numbers, the markets would get a hint as to what would be the operating profitability and what could be the net profitability. But that apart, I think clearly the space is going to be very less crowded. Less competition means that this stock is going to be a select stock where there's going to be a lot of appetite from the larger as well as from the HNI investors. So I would presume, longer term, if he can hold on, he can get a much stronger kind of upside. But in the next 2 to 3 months, the movement in the stock would obviously be driven by what kind of earnings numbers come out from the company.
Okay, so you could hold the stock and look for an upside of about 10 to 12% is what Avinash is recommending. Let's slip into a short break at this point of time, but on the other side, on our portfolio advisor segment, we will be addressing Jai Venkata Mahesh's portfolio. Stay tuned for that. Great to have you back with us on Buy Now, Sell Now Weekend.
Okay, we've got our portfolio advisor segment lined up. Time to get straight to it. Well, Jai Venkata Mahesh's portfolio, that's what we'll be discussing. 36 years of age, an engineer. It's 12 stocks all in all with a long-term time horizon of the next 5 to 10 years. Let's find out the stocks that are in the portfolio. First up, there's Globus Spirits. That's about 74 shares, 400 shares rather, bought at a level of 74 rupees. You've got South Indian Bank, a whopping 2,000 shares, 25 bucks is the buy price. GSFC, 500 shares bought at a level of 70 rupees. Moving on then, in the portfolio, there's about 500 shares of Gujarat Alkalis, 200 is the buy point. IRB Infra, 200 shares have been bought at 200 rupees. MT Educare, holding close to 300 shares, 150 is the buy price. Moving right on, and it's a slew of mid-caps. 300 shares of JME Chemicals, that's bought at 230. Persistent Systems, he's got 1,000 shares at 650. All Cargo Logistics, well, the purchase price, 180 rupees. Red Dredging Corp, that too features on the list, 150 shares at about 420 rupees. And there's Mahindra Life Spaces as well in the portfolio. 100 rupees is the buy price, as well as Mayur Uniquoters, 100 shares bought at 400 bucks. Well, let's nail it down then to the first three recommendations and what your view is. By and large, Avinash definitely concentrated in the mid-cap space. Let's start off with Globus Spirits. Your views on South Indian Bank and GSFC. How do you see these three names looking?
No, I think the first three set of names look pretty interesting. If you talk about Globus Spirits, the company posted a very strong quarter, and in the IMFL space, they have definitely put up a very decent performance. My sense is over the next 12 months, if he can hold on, he could get a target price of at least 96. So he should hold on. South Indian Bank also, I would presume in the private sector bank, is one bank which has shown decent performance in the first quarter, and looking at the kind of improvement in macros, he could get a target price of around 32 if he holds on for the next 12 months. GSFC, my sense is the first quarter was not good, but looking at the kind of product mix and the kind of monsoon performance, if he can hold on for the next 12-15 months, he could get a good upside around 90 rupees. So I would suggest to hold on to GSFC.
Okay, that's the call coming in, a whole call coming in on all first three stocks that you have in his portfolio. Avinash, let's talk about the other three stocks that Mahesh has in his portfolio. It's Gujarat Alkalis. What's your recommendation there? IRB Infra, which he bought at a price of about 200. So clearly he's making some marginal profits there. MT Educare, what's your call?
No, I think the first stock, Gujarat Alkali, has done pretty well. In fact, a very robust set of numbers in Q1. And I think, full year we could see earnings of close to about 40 odd rupees. In the chemical space, companies are definitely getting attracted quite widely. And we could probably see a target price of around 375 here. IRB from the road space is a dominant player, and we believe that the kind of traction which the government is pushing on roads is going to get reflected in IRB. Here also I think he should hold on for a target price of around 270 odd. And MT Educare, within the education space, we have seen very few companies showing decent set of numbers. So here also, I would suggest he should hold on. It's a good price he's got into. He could look at a target price of 170 here.
Okay, that's the cue coming in. Clearly, it's some good stocks that you have in your portfolio, and Avinash is pretty convinced about the fundamental prospects. Next up, JB Chemicals. What's the view here? Persistent Systems, it's been all over the place for the IT pocket. What do you reckon he should do with this investment? And All Cargo Logistics, do you think that it's one of the stocks that looks strong within this pack?
I think as far as JB Chemicals is concerned, it's a niche pharmaceutical player and has put out decent set of numbers. Our sense is that not only does it have decent cash on the balance sheet, but it's got a differentiated product portfolio. If he can hold on for the next 12 months, he could look at a target price of around 330 here. As far as Persistent System is concerned, I think he's almost near to his cost price, and looking at the kind of headwinds we expect in the IT space, I would suggest that he exits out of Persistent Systems and buys a stock called Hindustan Media Ventures, which is into the print media space. Looking at the elections which are likely to be held in UP, this stock could possibly get re-rated in the near 6 to 12 months, where he could get a target price of around 330. So a switch is advisable. And All Cargo, I would suggest, looking at the kind of numbers which are expected sometime next week, numbers are going to be good. And within the logistics space, this is one company which will obviously benefit from the GST bill which has been passed. So overall, here he can hold on. He can look at a target price of around 230 here.
Okay, that's the call coming in, be it JB Chemicals, HMVL, as well as All Cargo Logistics. Let's move on and talk about the other three stocks. It's Dredging Corp, which he bought at a price of 421. So pretty much at the same current market price the stock is trending at. Mayur Uniquoters, again, 400 was his buying price. And Mahindra Life Sciences, Life Space rather, what is it that you would like to recommend?
No, I think as far as Dredging Corporation is concerned, it's a niche player operating in the sport space, and I would suggest that looking at the kind of current market price, I think the risk reward definitely is there. He could look at a target price of 460 over the next 12 months. In fact, there is no further equity dilution expected, plus earnings are going to grow at a pretty healthy pace. As far as Mayur Uniquoters is concerned, the company recently announced a buyback of 5 lakh shares at around 500 rupees, and the quarterly numbers have also been good. So here I would suggest he should hold on. He could look at a exit price of around 475, 480. And Mahindra Lifespace, which belongs to the Mahindra Group, has put up a fairly dismal show in the quarter 1. But if you look at the business model and the long-term prospects, I think the investor should hold on. He should look at a longer time window here. He could look at a target price of around 470, 475 here.
Okay, that's the advice. By and large, it seems like so far so good on the portfolio. All the suggestions and the target prices have been mentioned. I hope you've taken note. Let's run you through a very important disclaimer then, that this is only a model portfolio. Please do recommend and consult your financial advisor before you take on board any recommendations. On that note, we take a quick break right here on the show. Stay with us for some top picks on the other side.
Great to have you back with us on Buy Now, Sell Now weekend. Let's take a look at the markets and how did we really shut shop this week. And clearly, it was a lackluster week. We didn't see any fireworks happening. It was a very flat close by the end of Friday's session, closing around 86-66 levels. But let's get in a word from Ruchit and find out which are the key levels that he would be monitoring in the coming week. Ruchit?
Probably on Nifty front, it's been last 1 month wherein we have seen sideways consolidation taking place. Well, during this last 1 month, 87.40, 87.50 has acted as a stiff resistance. And in the coming week, I think that would be the first target for the Nifty to cross on. In case the bulls are able to manage and cross over this 87.50, I think they would take this up to 8800 or 8830. The Bank Nifty index has already given a breakout of that range bound trading session, and the stock specific momentum is still positive. So I think that this resistance of 8750 would be taken out, and Nifty would head towards 8800 or 8813 next week.
Okay, let's also get in a view then, Ruchit, as to what exactly it is you're doing when it comes to individual banking stocks. They've been the flavor of the week.
Yeah, overall, if you observe the Bank Nifty index, then probably it has given a breakout of this resistance which was placed around 19,100, and I think on the higher side now the index has potential to go up to 19,700, 19,800. Within this index, certain private sector banks such as Kotak Bank and ICICI Bank are specifically looking positive. Since the majority of the constituent of Bank Nifty index is from the private sector banks, I think these two private sector banks would do well in near term. So one can look to go long in case amongst the banking sector in Kotak Bank and ICICI Bank, and also among the PSU banks. I think State Bank has shown phenomenon rally in last week. I think that positive momentum could continue going ahead. So State Bank of India, ICICI Bank and Kotak Bank are the three top picks which should do well in next week.
Okay, that's the view coming in as to how one should exactly be approaching stocks on the technical side. Let's get in a view then, Avinash, on the fundamentals. What is the sense that you're getting in terms of the direction that we're likely to take? We've been in consolidation mode of late, and it seems like all the positives are already factored in.
Yeah, I think if you see the kind of market movement for the last 2 to 3 trading sessions, I think it is very clear that on the downside, 8600 is a very strong support, and on the upside, I think 8700 looks to be a very strong resistance point. I think broadly the markets have discounted all the positive factors like good monsoons, decent set of earnings. I think the next trigger possibly could be obviously coming in from the global markets. I think what happens on the US Fed policy front, because clearly the recent Fed minutes commentary has clearly indicated that September could be a month where some sort of rate hike could happen. I think once this uncertainty is out of the market, I think you will probably see the markets getting re-rated again. And overall, the kind of monsoon progress which has happened till date, possibly by end of August or early September, could possibly be decent re-rating kind of factors which could actually take the markets higher. Till then, I think it's going to be a stock specific market. Broadly, I think more of stock specific action could be seen rather than index specific action.
Avinash, what is it that you have on your list?
Kamya, the first stock you are recommending is a chemical company, which is a specialty chemical company called Omkar Specialty Chemicals. This company caters to pharma as well as the animal feed industries, and in fact in terms of earnings, last year was a very strong year. The earnings grew by almost 35%. The first quarter numbers have also been very strong, a 25% growth in top line and a 40% growth in profit. In fact, we believe that the management has clearly indicated that they would be growing at a top line growth of around 18-20%, and margins would be around 20 odd percent. Valuations look very attractive, around 8 times FY17 and 6 times FY18. So here one could take a 1 year call and we look at a target price of around 195. And the second stock is Arvind. We believe that Arvind is a strong brand and retailing story, and given the kind of product range they have, I think the current price looks very attractive. The Q1 was also pretty good. For full year, we are looking at earnings of around 16-17 rupees. So from an earnings perspective and from a branding perspective, there is a good scope for re-rating. You could look at a target price of around 380 over the next 12 months.
Okay, there you have it. Those are some wealth creation picks from a fundamental standpoint. Nail it down to some technical recommendations as well. And Ruchit, what's on the radar?
Yeah, both the mid-cap stocks, because we have seen last couple of days mid-cap stocks has done well, and I think this momentum would continue in short term. My first pick is a buy call in Jain Irrigation. Probably after November 2015, this is the first time that the stock has crossed its resistance of 78 rupees and has given a weekly closing above that. The volumes during the last week on the breakout were very good, so I think the high top high bottom structure would continue in this stock. In near term, we are expecting the stock to rally up to 90 rupees. So from a couple of weeks of perspective, one can look to buy the stock around current levels of 80 to 82. Keep a stop loss below 75 rupees for target around 90. And my second pick would be a buy call in Engineers India. Well, since last 3 months, the stock has been forming higher tops and higher bottoms. The trend following indicators such as super trend and the parabolic SAR are in buy mode, and the good volumes on this up move are indicating continuation of this uptrend. Also, one positive thing is that whenever we have seen in recent times the corrective moves are there, the stock has shown time-wise correction rather than price correction. So I think a good upside could be seen from current levels up to 256. One can buy Engineers India, placing a stop loss below 225 for a target of 256 in next couple of weeks time.
Okay, those are some recommendations coming in from Ruchit. So there you have it, fundamental as well as technical calls. Would like to thank Avinash as well as Ruchit for taking the time out and sharing those recommendations with us on Buy Now, Sell Now weekend.
And on that note, we're completely out of time. Thanks so much from everyone that put the show together for watching. We'll see you next week.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.